that wine could be sweeter. I did a thing this week. I did a
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
So I know I've mentioned before, maybe not on air, that I watch a lot of short content. And every once in a while, I'll get the shorts for like Naruto or One Piece or
Okay.
Bleach in
Yeah.
my feed.
As you do.
Well, Bleach just finished. I think like the 1,000 Year Blood War is like their latest arc. It's 4 seasons. They just finished the run of season 3. So I've been getting a lot of shorts. And Bleach was always one that I was like, man, I remember watching a good bit of that show, fan dubbed from Japan. Like it would air on Japanese television and like on like Wednesday, and I'd have it by Friday.
Yeah.
So I went and I downloaded the first season of the 1,000 Year Blood War and watched it. This is binged the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I haven't watched an anime in years. Years. And I'm sitting there watching Bleach and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually pretty good.
I really need to start at the beginning again and work my way through, and maybe just skip the goddamn Banto arc. Banto arc, because I give up every time because I can't get through that arc.
One
I
of the
just don't
things I
care. I just
found,
don't like it. I don't care.
one of the things I found really interesting is that picking up, so like when I stopped watching Bleach, it was when the end of the Soul Society arc, when Aizen escapes through the portal to the world of the Hollows to start his whole thing.
Okay.
That's where I stopped watching.
I think that's where most
Picking up
people
with the
stopped
1,000
watching.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I did. So yeah, I must have skipped the Banto arc at some point because I remember them getting to that area. I remember a couple of the early fights in like the sand and everything. I think I remember them getting to the like the Bone Castle, whatever that was, and I think that might be where I actually never quite made it any further, and I don't
picking
remember
up with
why.
because it sucked. It was so boring. So picking up with the 1,000 Year Blood War, it having no knowledge of what happened in that time does not matter. Everyone's stronger, so just take it as it is that everyone is stronger and Aizen is in prison. So that's it. Nothing else so far has mattered.
Huh.
Interesting.
So like if you're just like, okay, people got stronger off season or off camera. Aizen instead of escaping, got captured and was imprisoned, had a big fight with Ichigo, got captured and was imprisoned. Boom. Like none of it mattered. Ichigo is a ridiculous character. He is everything. Everything. He is a Hollow, a Soul Reaper, and a Quincy, all in one. And a human.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course it is.
Because I don't know how to pronounce his name because I've heard it pronounced both ways, where it's Tite or Tight. Just like when off the rails, and just like went screw it.
I mean, it feels like that. It definitely feels that way because like he's just a little bit of everything. And that's why he's so powerful, because he's just a little bit of everything.
Well, you could always see that when he was getting his hollow form.
Yeah. Yeah, like it doesn't really come as a surprise. Like I'm not surprised that like his mother was a Quincy. Okay, sure. Yeah. Why not?
At this point, sure. Makes sense.
Exactly.
Let's go with that.
Like I've already accepted the fact that like you're part hollow. So like this is a way easier pill to swallow.
And people make fun of me for watching Eminence and like actually like not unironically enjoying Eminence and Shadow, which is just it's like One Punch Man, where it's a satire on the genre.
What is the genre?
The isekai overpowered MC.
Oh, okay. I feel like a lot of isekais are parodies of themselves with overpowered MCs. Like Shield Hero, I feel like is a parody of itself.
Shield Hero is terrible. I hate
Shield Hero.
I hate Shield Hero. I was kind of into it But I was like kind of not really a fan of it because of how just like blah the main character is, and how like wishy-washy he is, and just like not entertaining.
I had problems with how stupid he is.
Yeah, and how stupid he is. And then it
Yeah,
got to
he's
the point
really
where
dumb,
and it got to
especially
the
in the
point where
beginning.
it got to the point where like he started to make like actual real character progression in like trusting his team and like starting to work together with the other heroes because they have to save the world. Like the whole big bad like comes into play, and they have to save the work together to save the world. And he was like starting to like work through his past stuff and like have actual character growth. And then instantly, as soon as like one of the underlings for the big bad was dealt with, he was instantly back to being a sad little bitch. And I'm like, where did all your character growth go? Oh, they're
In
just
his defense, the other heroes are straight up dicks to him for
They're-
no fucking reason.
oh yeah, they're absolute garbage. Don't get me wrong, they're absolute garbage dickhole wads
for no reason.
for no reason.
Literally no reason.
And like, I get it, but at the same point, like, he had like actual character growth that was reset because reasons. Because the story demanded that the story goes on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of animes like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of really annoying.
It is bullshit.
It's super annoying because I abandoned a ton of stories just because it's like I realize they're never going to end. It's kind of why it's why I like Eminence and Shadow. It's very much like One Punch Man, where it knows what it's doing. It knows it's spoofing its own thing, and it does it so incredibly well. Because the main
Yes.
character is like stupidly OP to the point where he breaks his own universe, his own story's rules, but like he's a non-entity in the story, because like the whole setup for it is he started like making up stories to be like, because he was like that, like the Chuny character when he first came over to the world, and he just started like making up stories about how there's like an evil cult trying to take over the world. In his mind, he made it up, and everyone's just kind of like playing along with his delusions, but it's actually happening. But he's like acting like it's just some play that him and his friends are doing.
So are the conspiracy theories real or not?
They are real. Sure.
But he's the only one who believes them?
No, he's the only one who doesn't believe them.
I see.
So he
I
made up
see.
the conspiracy theory as like a joke, but it turns out the conspiracy theory is real, and all of the people who bought into his conspiracy theory found out that the conspiracy theory was real, and he's the only one who doesn't think it's real.
That sounds bananas. That sounds absolutely insane.
It's wonderful.
It also sounds like it could be a direct effect of listening to this episode. Which, by the way, welcome everyone to today's theme. I am your host, Mara. Joining me, as always, is Asher Dales
Ew.
and Lostronaut.
Hello.
And today, our theme is conspiracy theories. What lurks in the shadows that are
And who hunts the
explanations
shadows?
for otherwise mundane things? What shadowy secrets are the powers at be hiding from us? That's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to start us off with a classic conspiracy theory. And I don't know anybody alive who doesn't have an opinion on this one. Chemtrails.
Oh, good.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Really? We're going to start with chemtrails?
It's a super easy one to start with.
Setting the
Now,
bar
just
low.
just so everybody knows, just so everybody's on the same page as we enter this. I think the only way to do this fairly is to state the conspiracy theory and then what the theory states. So chemtrails alleges that water from aircraft, those little
Mhm.
lines that you see from aircraft,
Yeah.
is being used as chemical or biological agents to either do population control or weather control. That it is sprayed
Well, wait, well,
over
which
us
is it?
on a daily basis. Obviously, there is no evidence supporting this theory.
Not at all.
No.
The thing that always, I remember the first time I heard this, and the thing that always struck me as bananas with it is like, okay, so these pilots are up there, they're spreading all this stuff. And then where do they go? Back down to the ground that they just polluted? To go drink the water that they just contaminated?
They must
I
be
don't
a
know,
believer.
So I feel like that's one of those things that, kind of like some other theories that we may or may not touch on, it's not. It's just it's a matter of, it would have to be so widespread to the point where there's no way that many people can keep a secret. Like there's just it's so many people that would have worked on
So
this or
many
know
people.
about it, or like, I mean, like every aircraft mechanic in the country and the world actually at that point would have to be, beholden to that, because who refills that stuff, who checks the nozzles,
The lizard people.
like, the lizard. Okay, so like every aircraft mechanic in the country is a lizard person, and not I mean, are
That's what
every
the
one of them Mark
chemtrails are
Zuckerberg?
for. That's what the chemtrails are for, is so they turn the normal people into lizard people and get them indoctrinated into the lizard folk. Duh.
I don't think we need to make the conspiracy theory more than what it is.
Like, but why not?
I'm not sure Asher is incorrect on this either. Is the problem?
Now,
Because so here's the thing: a lot of these conspiracy theories, the further down you go, the more connected they are. Because who
I
set
would
up the
like to point
conspiracy?
out-
Who set up the chemtrails?
well,
The lizard people.
obviously. Yeah, obviously.
Which is
According,
another one.
so it's estimated that 17% of people globally believe this theory to be true. And in a peer-reviewed study that was released by the Carnegie Institution for Science in 2016, 76 out of 77 participating atmospheric chemists or geochemists stated that they had seen no evidence. I would love to know what the 77th guy saw to support this theory.
He saw a
'Cause if
large
76
check
out of
in his bank
77 were
account.
like, no, this is bullshit. And 77 was like, no, guys, aren't you seeing this?
70, like, contrary to what a lot of people think, the 77th guy was just like, I have no comment.
Probably.
That's really what it comes down to, is like when you say, like, when you hear like 4 out of 5 dentists recommend this toothpaste, the 5th one was just like,
Or-
I have no comment.
Or the possibility of, well, I don't have enough information to be conclusive one way or the other, which is also a valid option. I don't
Yeah,
have enough
okay.
information to make a decision.
That's fair. So that doesn't necessarily mean the 77th
Agreed
geochemist
with
is being
them,
like,
but
oh no,
that's-
this is happening.
But that's the thing. That is the kind of data manipulation people will use.
He's obviously a lizard person.
I'm not even a person.
Lizard science. Eyeball licking MFers.
Where does the lizard people theory come from?
I have no idea.
I wonder where that originates
Is
from.
that part of like the under Earth, like the hollow Earth people or whatever?
I believe in if you dig deep enough in that one in particular, I believe it really just comes down to racism.
That's just all of human history.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Those people are different from us. Kill them.
But yeah, I don't know how much of that is the Hollow Earth thing, which I think originates. I mean, it originates back further, but was it the was it Admiral Byrd? It was like a World War I expedition to Antarctica, and he flew over the South Pole, and supposedly, like, this is a whole other conspiracy theory. Like, I might be just going off the rails here, but yeah, we were talking about the lizard people thing, and like, isn't it there? That's like that's the whole Hollow Earth thing, isn't it? Or am I mistaking that for Land of the Lost?
Or is that different than the Arctic expedition where they found the Transformers?
What? What are you talking
know,
about?
The Witwicky expedition.
You're walking in the north. You're all alone, and your phone is dead. Suddenly, in the snow behind you, Shia LaBeouf.
Actual cryptid Shia LaBeouf.
Actual cryptid Shia LaBeouf.
Now, this isn't a lizard person theory, but there is a popular theory it's lost a lot of traction now, but probably because she's not as much of a public figure. But there was a popular theory going around that Michelle Obama is a trans woman.
I've heard this, and again, that just feels like an attack.
It feels like an attack.
Like an attack just to make the attack. Like,
kinda,
you know,
it kind of feels, more than anything, it kind of feels like an attack on fit women.
yeah.
Right?
She
It kind of feels like
exercises.
an attack on tall, fit women.
She has muscle definition.
Like,
Okay,
the
so
woman's
so
just
her
built,
her
like, she's
shoulders.
just in shape.
Okay, so her shoulders were broader than some of the guys that were making the accusation. It's too bad for them. Shit happens. You lost the genetic lottery. Oh no.
It's like that conspiracy theory that they tried to get traction, but like it had no legs. But of the fighter in the Olympics this past year.
Oh, was
who-
it was it the boxer? The
Yeah, the
boxing.
boxer.
Yeah, that was a whole load of bullshit.
It was a
like-
whole load of crap.
The funny thing is too, like, there was no hard feelings between either one of them. Like, one boxer was like, yeah, I wasn't gonna win, but there wasn't any problem there. And like, I don't know where that came from. Like, I legitimately don't know how people look at this stuff and like think like that. I
Oh,
can't.
I know where it came from. It came from because what happened was they squared off. The woman from Italy, I think she was from Italy, took a punch, and it was a punch that was harder than she was expecting to take. And she started
Yeah, it rang her
crying,
bell.
and she forfeited the match. And because of how her opponent looked, everyone thought that she was a trans woman. No, she's a regular looking woman. Like,
If I remember correctly, the country that she originates from, that I believe she was competing on behalf of, does not exactly accept that sort of thing.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Was she Iranian? I do not.
Something
wanna
like
mess that
that.
No,
up.
she wasn't Iranian.
It
I would
was.
say- I would say
Well,
Algeria, but I'm not 100%.
Let me look at it. I really don't want to be like offensive. This is just me not remembering legitimately.
It's like one of
where
those
it
things.
was.
It's like, yeah, a fighter can punch at a higher weight class than they look. Look at Manny
Mhm.
Pacquiao. He started as a flyweight. I think he started as a super flyweight, and he went through 7 weight classes and was still knocking people out.
And like that's just what happened. Like she was in the opponent, like the Italian woman. She was in the Olympics. I'm sure her nerves were skyrocketed. She was super nervous. She took a punch. It spooked her, and she forfeited. That's all that happened.
Probably just got caught with the. I didn't even watch any of the clips of that, but she probably just got caught with a clean one and was not expecting it. I mean, if anything, if there's any conspiracy theory coming out of this past Olympics, it's letting Ray Gun into the Olympics for breakdancing.
Oh yeah, that was
no,
a
that's
whole thing that I think they're investigating because it kind of came down to be like almost like I don't want to say like organized crime, but like legitimately a type of defraudment essentially.
her and her husband. Like, you want to talk about a fucking rabbit hole? Her and her husband owned the National Breakdancing League in Australia, which
Mhm.
means they were in charge of the judging and the qualifiers to go to the Olympics.
Mhm.
So they said, nah, us going.
Yep, pretty
Yeah,
much.
exactly.
And then a woman made a musical. She made a musical called Ray Gun the Musical and was performing it and then got a cease and desist from Ray Gun.
Yeah, she better watch out because they firebomb people down there.
Oh, just oh, so the boxer Emain Khalif.
Yes.
She was from Algeria. Yeah, I just wanted to
Okay.
correct myself. I wanted to correct on that. That was my memory being super faulty.
I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought it was Algeria. But yeah, like she's from Algeria.
Mhm.
You're not even allowed to be gay in Algeria.
Yeah.
Let alone trans. They're certainly not sending a trans boxer to go represent their country. So crazy. But yeah, they tried to make that a whole big conspiracy. And it wasn't. It wasn't. Let's see what other good conspiracy. I mean, obviously there's flat earth, which
I just
every
love
time I
that.
think of it, just it makes me sad.
I love that they ran experiments that proved themselves wrong.
Yeah, they continuously do it too. That's the funny thing. It's not even like that's a one-time thing. It happens all the time. Oh, and oddly enough, there is I think it's starting in the last like day or so. So there's I want to say it's today or tomorrow maybe. But it's a whole expedition to Antarctica. They're taking like I think two flat earthers and a handful of actual scientists down
To,
to Antarctica
to go study
to
the ice
see
wall.
to go to I forget the name of the particular there's an established permanent base down there, and it's used for observing the 24-hour sun. And the point of that is on literally every flat Earth model, and they can't even agree on their own model how any of this stuff works, or on one model. Um, no matter how they set it up, a 24-hour sun does not work on their flat model with like an ice wall or any of that stuff. So this one guy, I want to say he used to be a flat earther. I don't recall specifically. But again, the thing is actually it's actually called the final experiment. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's like kind of a side thing. But yeah, there's a guy who is independently funding it, and he's paying for everything, and he just went to like the. It's funny because the Asher, you had mentioned a couple of the experiments, like the 15-degree gyroscope experiment. That I think that guy was actually he was one of the guys invited, and he turned it down.
Yeah, because he proved himself wrong with his
Well, yeah,
$20,000 laser gyroscope.
Yeah.
Fool me once, fool myself once, shame on me. Fool myself twice, shame on me.
Well, I think they tried to give some bullshit explanation too. It wasn't even like, because if I remember correctly, it came down to they had a $20,000 like laser gyroscope or something used. It was like very finely. I forget what there's actually like a use for this. But one of their followers bought it for them, and what they found is when they tested it, they found a 15-degree, like a 15-degree drift.
Yep.
Per hour, which would be
the time
360
zones.
degrees.
15-degree drift per hour. That is the time zones. You know how we calculated how the time zones work.
There was also another guy that I think they had two boards a camera and a light shooting down a river. So the camera and one board with a hole in it is at one side of the river, and in the middle of the river at a certain height. I don't have all of the remember. I don't remember all the exact
It was
details.
like
but
7
essentially-
feet or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 7 feet. So it was if everything was flat, all of the holes at 7 feet, what you'd be able to see the light through the both holes of both boards, even though they're at a distance because there's no curvature, and the camera would see the light if they held it up at exactly, I want to say 19 feet or 17 feet, I think it was. And they were incorrectly calculating that it would have to be at 23 feet for the light to show if there was a curvature, but they didn't take into account I want to say like refraction or something. I don't remember the exact details. But what they found was at the 19 or the 17 feet that it was supposed to be, nothing happened. It wasn't until the dude lifted his arm up again to I think it was actually a 19-foot height, which with the adjusted refraction makes the math work. They're like, oh, interesting. And even the guy who like did it will not admit a goddamn thing about it being wrong or anything. He just starts he starts insulting people and screaming. It's nuts.
Of course, because when they don't have facts to go on, they just start yelling.
Yeah.
They just get louder.
And honestly, like at that point, like once someone just will not accept the truth that is being presented to them and they still stick to their falsehoods, like at that point you have to shame those people. Like you ridicule them. You don't like you bring them on platforms just to make them look stupid. Like just to ridicule them.
That's what Simon Dan did with his YouTube channel. Yeah. He had Flat Earth Fridays where he just took a video from a flat earther and just debunked it.
Yeah. I think that's how I found him, because somehow I think I found like was it Professor Dave, and like he did a couple of debates, like hour-long debates with a couple of the really scammy flat earthers. And yeah, I think that's how I ended up finding Simon Dan. And Creaky Blinders is actually a really good one. He is entertaining as hell, but like his facts are good. He's really good. I like him. Yeah, and there's a couple. And one of them actually, I think it's one of the other Dave. It's not Professor Dave, but the other Dave McKeegan. I think he's one of the not flat earthers. I don't think he's necessarily a scientist. I think he's primarily a photographer, but he does a lot of science videos on why they're wrong about flat earth. And he was one of the ones with the invitation. So he's actually, I think, one of the ones that went.
I remember one time I saw a documentary on flat earthers,
Mhm.
and in it they showed they showed like conventions, because they have conventions. They have flat Earth conventions.
I mean,
all
they're
around the
gonna
globe.
do
Anime
everything.
convention.
I remember.
They
Yeah,
have
wasn't it
fucking
the
Flat Earth
Facebook group?
convention. And so like I'm watching this, and the guy I lived with at the time, he was convinced that flat Earth was just a joke. That everybody
I-
was in on it. They
I
didn't
was kinda
actually
the same.
believe it, and that it was all a joke. He refused to believe that people actually believed it. And that got me thinking, especially after seeing that documentary. I was like, I wonder how many people who are just kind of like outcasts and on the fringe of society, don't have a lot of friends, are really, really alone. And they end up like meeting someone who's a flat earther, and then like go to one of these conventions, and then like all of a
It's a
sudden
cult.
they have a community.
You're saying it's a cult, which I don't
It's
think you're
cult.
entirely incorrect. It's a cult.
Is that a
Essentially,
cult? I guess that is a cult, isn't it?
it's a cult. That's a cult. It's a cult, or it's an MLM. And
Which is a
honestly, it's
cult.
kind of, which really, yeah, which
What's
is
the
really
diff-
just a cult.
What's the difference?
The payment structure.
You guys are getting paid?
Technically, if I recruit enough people, I get a certain amount of cents, as opposed to, and if it's a cult, if I recruit enough people, I get a certain amount of gruel.
A certain amount of Kool-Aid?
I get extra Kool-Aid.
Double the arsenic.
I get the first batch. I get to
didn't-
taste test.
I guess that is just.
I don't think there's enough rat poison in this.
Yeah, needs more rat poison.
I knew the taste was a little off.
It's not tangy enough.
My throat's not burning enough. I want my throat to burn.
You know, ghost peppers, that's how I want to feel.
Tragic cultist figures, a leader and a second in command who, over the years, have just built up a tolerance to arsenic. So they keep amassing a group of followers, and they all just die, but they don't because they don't take enough arsenic.
It's a black comedy.
It's not really black comedy.
It's done by the guys who did Reno 911.
It's either them or
They need to get on that.
or the Zucker brothers.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who the Zucker brothers are, they did Airplane, Hot Shots, The Naked Gun.
Such
You
a
know,
classic.
the classics in the satirical comedy.
Satirical / slapsticky. I mean, some of them are pretty slapstick.
I mean, The Naked Gun was it's half slapstick
Yeah, at least.
with debonair, dead-faced Liam, like
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah,
I was
he was a serious actor. He made his
He was a leading,
initial
like-
career.
yeah,
He was a leading man. He was not known for comedy.
That was the entire reason why he was hired for Airplane, is because he could deliver these just absolutely absurd lines with a dead straight face.
With a deadpan face. Yeah.
He's so good at it. He's so good at it.
Because like when they were auditioning people, the Zucker brothers were basically looking for Leslie Nielsen, but they kept on getting comedians who were trying to like play it like goofballs.
Play it up. Mm-hmm.
And then Leslie Nielsen came in and read it like a serious like screenplay.
Here's a good one. Here's a good conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory of the 15-minute cities.
I don't know if I know this one. What is a 15-minute city?
So there's an urban planning concept of 15-minute cities. And basically what at its simplest form, what it states is that in your daily life, everything that you need, meaning shopping, entertainment, work, all of it should be within 15 minutes of your dwelling. On foot, mind you, 15 minutes on foot. And that is how we should be building cities. We should be building them to be walkable and to have everything that you need within about roughly 15 minutes of walking distance.
I don't think the infrastructure that I've seen in this country emulates any of that.
No, it would be a radical readjustment of our infrastructure and the way we build cities and roads and everything. But it's the way a lot of other countries do it. Hence, they're a lot less reliant on cars. And that's the idea of it, is that it lessens reliance on cars, cuts emissions, all that good stuff. And, creates like nice livable spaces for people. Now, the conspiracy of it comes in is that the conspiracy is that it's only being pushed to restrict and limit freedom of movement outside of that 15-minute zone. So basically, opponents to it are saying, if we adopt this policy or this mentality, you're going to be designated a zone. And everything within your zone is 15 minutes away from you, and you can't leave your 15-minute zone, your housing zone.
So the idea is it should be like a mental health, almost utopian, like you can get everything easily and it's really just house arrest, but extra.
So it's just the Hunger Games
Yeah.
on micro scale.
It's just New Jersey.
Kind of. Like,
Listen, any state you got to pay to get out of.
the fact that people think you're going to get rid of cars in this country in particular that quickly,
No.
Yeah, because
I don't know. I don't know that that's ever really going to happen. I
They-
mean, we less independence possible. That would be cool. But
the thing is, like, with like the Europeans, when they say like, I don't understand why you guys just everybody has cars and you all just like don't travel outside of your country and you don't have trains to every city. It's like, you don't understand just how big the United States is, do you?
Yeah, no, they don't. They have no concept.
I have no
I have
concept.
heard stories from people
Oh.
who used to work at like big amusement parks like Disney, and they'd have like European couples that would be like, "Hey, so how long how far is the other park? Like, can we just how long would it take to pop over there?" This and they're like in Florida, and they're talking about the California park.
It's
they think
3,000
they're gonna
miles
drive-
away.
And
It
they
takes
think they're
a
going to
week.
drive that. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
7-hour flight.
The scale of the United States doesn't always necessarily. The Northeast, like there, I think a combination of like Pennsylvania, New York, Maine, like a couple of the states are bigger than the whole of the British Isles.
Pennsylvania and New Jersey combined is the size of the main British island.
Yeah.
It's 2 states.
Which is why a lot of Americans don't travel outside the country.
Yeah.
It's because traveling the country is basically international travel.
If you
And
travel
expensive.
Distance.
if you travel like a couple hours away, you're in a completely different like a climate.
You're in a new biome.
landscape, like culture of people.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. You basically unlock a whole new biome.
And a lot of Europeans don't realize that until they come over here and like do like a kind of like try to do like a cross country trip and see just how diverse America is.
I just drove 8 hours. I'm still in the same state.
Because
Now, that said, I would love to live in a 15-minute neighborhood.
because there was the guy who was gonna come over for the World Cup, and I had I popped the comment in on his videos like, if you want to try and go catch a game in Seattle and then in Miami, that's like traveling from Scotland to Turkey. That's how far it is. So prepare yourself and figure out what blocks you want to go watch and where they're playing, because you're not
It's
going to
far.
make it to every game.
No, not at all. It's far.
I mean, not by driving.
Not-
That is
not
going to
even
be
by
one.
Not even by flying, because what's a plane ticket from Seattle to Miami? Couple $100?
I mean, if he's paying the money, he could probably do it, but that's pricey.
That's for one. It says
Also-
going from one game.
One, yeah.
It is shameful that we don't have a cross-country rail.
It's too expensive.
That's insane.
Like, once again, a cross country rail. It's like trying to go take a train from Scotland to Turkey in one go.
We could do it. We could do it.
We did
We
do
could
it.
do it.
We did do it. We just used slave labor.
Well, okay. Well, we can't do it that way this time. We can still do it.
Can we?
No, but
though?
I know what you mean. I know a lot of
Do
the current railways are not up to snuff for like
Do you-
high speed rail. Which
do you
is really the
remember-
only way that would work?
Do you remember how hard it was to get Excella going on the East Coast? That's just the
what?
East Coast.
What the fuck is Excella?
It's the high-speed rail that goes up and down the East Coast.
We have high-speed rail that goes up and down
Yeah,
the East Coast.
It's called Excella.
No shit.
I didn't know that.
It goes from I think
know
it goes
that
from
either.
Washington D.C. to Boston,
Oh wow, I had no idea.
but it like doesn't run because it's too expensive. Because it's like $300 for a ticket.
Oh, well, that would explain why I've never heard of it because it doesn't run.
And I say it's high speed, but it's like 80 miles an hour. It only stops at it's like stops at DC, Philadelphia, New York, and then it goes straight to Boston. It's like there's like no stops.
what's like a DC to Boston time frame?
It's like like 4 or 5 hours, something like that.
I'm not 100% sure that's even quicker.
It
Well, That's
is.
the thing. So that's the thing with trains, is that, especially here, especially in this country, because we subsidize jet fuel, we subsidize plane tickets.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to trains, the problem is that they're not overly faster than plane. I mean, obviously they're slower, but the tickets are like the same price because they're not subsidized.
Tickets. It's actually. I think it's actually slower. It like actual travel time is slower. What you get hung up with is security. You gotta like get to the airport an hour early.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Just
true.
sit
Yeah,
on
like
the
actual travel
tarmac.
time is
Like
slower.
the actual like traveling of the time is slower, but it kind of makes up with it where you just like present your ticket and get on the train.
Okay. Even taking into account like a 2-hour lead time for security, like say, for instance, like Philadelphia to Las Vegas, for instance, let's say would be
It's 5 hours.
5
7,
hours,
6 hours,
7
depending.
hours. Yeah, 7 hours if you include the security. Whole thing. If you're figuring like a 2-hour lead time, you go down and get ready to, have to go through the scan and all that crap. You are not getting, you're not doing that on a train in less than 3 days.
No, you're not. You're not. But you know what? I would rather take a train for 3 days than a fucking plane.
It really depends
I
on the
would-
train.
It depends on the train and depends on like how busy you are. Like I would rather take a plane ride and spend 7 hours dealing with the airlines than 3 days on a train to go to Las Vegas.
And
Especially like
no,
because you look at say Philadelphia to Boston, the flight is like you're in the air for 45 minutes.
Oh, you go up and then you immediately you crest and then you come down.
there's not even any reason to take a flight for that long.
It's faster.
Because you're going
look-
from Philadelphia to Boston in 45 minutes.
We live in we move too fast. We don't need to move that fast. Started as conspiracy theories. Now it's just me yelling at clouds.
Yeah. Which that was the first one too. Was people getting upset at clouds.
Oh, you remember that? That reminds me, yelling at clouds and chemtrails. There was the video that went up on YouTube where it was the woman yelling about the rainbows in her sprinkler system.
I
It
don't
was
I don't know this.
hilarious.
What?
It was like she was like
What
trying to
happened?
blame like the prism effect of water on chemtrails. So she would like take a hose, like she noticed it because of her sprinkler system when it was on, and the planes were flying overhead. And the sun was out. There would be rainbows in her sprinklers.
Oh my
So
God.
to prove her theory, she took her hose and like sprayed it in the air on a sunny day and went, "The chemtrails are causing rainbows."
Oh my
I-
God.
I think I smell toast.
Oh my God.
The internet
nose
had a
bleeding.
jolly old laugh that day.
Ah.
We're gonna talk about how pigeons aren't real.
Well, I mean, that's not even a conspiracy theory, though. That's proven.
I see. Now I've heard two different versions of this. I've heard pigeons aren't real and that birds aren't real.
Birds are real. They used to be dinosaurs. Pigeons are not real. I've seen a
Doves
baby bird.
are
I've
just
never
white
seen a baby
pigeons.
pigeon. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? I rest my case.
They're in nests high up off the ground.
Why hasn't anybody taken a photo of one? Why don't you see why
Why-
don't you see photos of pigeons?
Why would you
Baby
want
pigeons.
to?
I've seen photos about the other fucking baby animal.
Have you seen photos of a baby dove?
Yeah.
Then you've seen photos of a baby pigeon.
Pigeons are government surveillance drones. Birds used to be dinosaurs. Pigeons are drones.
The devil put dinosaurs on this planet to trick people.
God.
It's another good conspiracy theory.
Oh my god.
The dinosaurs aren't real, never existed.
Well, it's either that or or like some of the, what is it? I guess it might be the creationist myths where humans and dinosaurs lived
Live
together.
together. Fun theory, or observational theory, I guess, is that the Flintstones is creationist.
Is creationist
okay.
what? Is creationist propaganda or is creationist lore? Like,
Yes.
which one is it? Yeah,
Yes.
you're not wrong. I guess you're not wrong.
It's just a cartoon show. It's just a fun kids cartoon show.
Well, the Bible says that the
So
animals were
says
placed
our
on
Lord.
that the animals were placed on this earth to serve man, and what do they do in the Flintstones? They are the machinery. They are the appliances.
So says our Lord Hanna-Barbera.
Let's see.
Because Dino used to
Fluoride's
talk.
another popular one.
Dino used to talk in season 1.
Did he?
Yep, season 1. He was a
No, did he
walking,
really?
talking, like sentient being, like a butler.
Oh no.
He was like a full-on butler character, and then in season 2, they made him cut it the f out.
Oh my god. He did used to talk.
And they turned him into a dog.
Oh my god, he used to answer the phone.
Yep.
What?
I have no memory of this.
I have no memory of this either.
You know what this must be? This is the Mandela effect.
No.
Yes.
No, because I can see a video of him talking.
No, I'm absolutely
I'm
fucking
watching a
with you.
video
But
of him
yeah,
talking.
it's yeah, it could be. Like it's that would be a good example of the possibility of a Mandela effect. I say possibility, but someone would use as an example. Like I think one of the popular ones is the Berenstein Bears versus the Berenstein Bears.
It's okay. First of all, it's the Berenstein Bears.
And here's the thing: there is printed copies of both.
Okay, well, that's great. It's the Berenstein. I don't know who the Berenstain family is, but there's only one bear family as far as I'm concerned.
That's the Charmin Bear family.
It's weird that they have lore. Can we talk about that?
Wait, they have lore?
Yeah.
You're messing with me. You gotta be messing with
shit
me.
you not. I shit you not. They have lore.
That's a good use of phrase.
Kai, please tell me you are tugging on one of my extrapolators right now.
No. Watch the progression of the commercials. They go from being a normal family of bears in the woods to being a middle class family living in the suburbs.
They're living the American dream.
It's crazy.
I'm glad somebody
Fucking
is.
crazy.
They have white picket something.
Yeah. Yeah, they took the line, does a bear shit in the woods, and made it into an entire cinematic universe, essentially.
I can't. Oh my god, that's terrible.
So, let's see. Let's see. All right. I've been waiting to bring this one up because I feel like you two have got it.
Oh boy. Oh
I
boy.
wanna see
Aliens.
which one this is. Aliens.
Aliens.
What, like just aliens or aliens built the pyramids?
I mean, just aliens.
Okay.
And more specifically, the fact that, they did just acknowledge that aliens live in the ocean.
Do I think
Octopuses?
there's intelligent life somewhere else in the universe? Statistically, maybe, because there isn't any here.
Statistically, yes, because the universe is so big that they could have just passed this by. And just both in time and distance.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be.
We can't
that
be
is-
the
on
only
yeah,
one.
other planets.
I'm almost certain that we are not the only ones. However, have they made it here?
Maybe.
Lizard people.
I mean, you've been on the internet. This is why the aliens won't talk to us. That, and we'll point our guns at them.
I mean, honestly, if you think about just think about a superior race viewing our planet and realizing that our planet is what, 76% water? And it's like, okay, like how much of the water part do they have like figured out, and how much of that do they occupy? And it's like none of it.
They barely know what's going on down there.
They only live on the dry part. They only map out the dry part. And it's like, what? And it's like, yeah, they haven't figured out how to do the underwater part.
I absolutely contest
if-
if aliens ever were to actually visit us, we would be just the surface dirt, like kicking around on the surface and everything, and the actual intelligences they want to deal with and would end up talking to are all the deep sea, like the octopuses and whales and porpoises and dolphins and all that shit.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Exactly.
But no, like if an alien race would understand just how hard it is to like do anything under the water for an air breather,
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause they would
at that point,
understand what they-
they figured it out.
they would
Obviously.
understand what pressure is,
Well, yeah, because they figured it out themselves.
which leads into like one of the best jokes in all of Futurama is like, this is a spaceship. Well, how many atmospheres can it withstand? 0 to 1.
That is a good joke.
Yeah.
That is a good joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's incredibly hard to map anything. Like, well, A, you can't see down there.
Nope.
B, water's is like an incredibly interesting medium. Incredibly interesting. It's heavy. It's an insulator, weirdly, even though it can conduct. It's weirdly an insulator. It has an incredible like thermal capacity. It does interesting things at interesting temperatures. When
It
it
actually-
when it
so-
gets colder, it becomes less dense.
It does actually slightly compress under its own weight at extreme depths.
But it's basically
It's
incompressible.
basically incompressible, but it does compress very, very slightly.
It kind of slots in right.
Yeah.
The ocean's freaky.
Was it thalassophobia, the fear of the ocean or the deep ocean? I forget.
The deep ocean, I believe it is. It's just
Yeah,
like being
deep
out in like
ocean.
open ocean,
Yeah.
like looking down and just
Yeah, the
seeing
ocean's freaky.
the depths. I can see how that's freaky.
I actually think I have that because when I went to the Bahamas and I did a little excursion where like they put you in like a Scooty Puff Junior only like for underwater, where like it looks like a tricycle and it has like half of like a fish dome. And basically when you submerge, the air gets trapped in this fish dome and you ride
do
it
not
like a
like that.
bicycle underwater.
I do not like that. I do not like
I-
the air getting trapped like the fish dome. No. No.
I
No.
thought it would be cool. I thought because I really wanted to do scuba diving, but I was like, it'll be my first time. I don't think I'll enjoy it as much. So I was like, I'll do this because it's the same experience. I had the biggest panic attack. I thought I was gonna die
It's-
because there I am underwater. I can't see anything because this fucking plastic dome is all scratched up and old.
It's
All
two
I hear
phobias in
is-
one.
All I hear is my own breath reverberating off the walls of this plastic dome that holds. Now, I don't know how much air, but I do know what is a finite amount of air.
That you don't know the limit of until you run out of it.
Don't
And
know the
you-
limit of.
And here's the
And
problem
you don't
with
know
when it goes
when it happens.
Here's the problem when like you start breathing too much carbon dioxide. I believe you just typically start to pass out.
Yeah, you just
You just
pass
can't
out.
pass out.
There's like no indicator when you. It's not like
There can be. You can get a headache, you can get nausea, depending on how quickly onset it is and all that. Yeah, there are some indicators.
Now that I recall
not
it,
a lot though.
No,
now that I
not a
recall
lot.
this, I do believe that there was an air tank
Mhm.
hooked up that was feeding air into this dome.
Mhm.
But that
But
really didn't make me
still.
feel much better.
No, still. I mean, also just not being able to see where you're going.
Just hope that air tank is nice and tight.
Yeah.
Cause you ever seen pictures of what happens when a diving bell loses its pressure?
No.
It's just
What
goo.
happened? Oh,
It's
great.
just goo.
Oh, I think
It's-
you're talking about the
It's
you're talking about the Byford dolphin disaster.
no, it's when like a diving suit in like higher pressures or like a diving bell suddenly
yeah,
loses
yeah.
its air supply, which is its pressure mechanism. You just
God,
get
what is it,
turned
Delta
into
P.
you just get turned into human goo.
It's just like a soda can or a sub full of billionaires just being there 1 second and gone the next.
But instead of it being collapsing on you like a carbon fiber shell, it's just your flimsy suit.
Yep.
I don't like that.
Yeah, no, I know. Didn't MythBuster just did something like that years and years ago, where they put a skeleton in
A hyperbaric
they
chamber.
put a skeleton. Well, no, it wasn't even a hyperbaric chamber. They did this. I believe they did this actually in the Pacific, probably just off the coast of San Francisco, if I remember correctly. But they had one of the old diving suits where you have to constantly pump the air in to keep it pressurized.
Yep.
And they had a skeleton in the ballistics gel, so they had a whole body, and they had like simulated organs and stuff in there too.
Goo.
And when they shut off the water, so they had a camera on the
air.
front of the old when they shut off the air, they had a camera on front of the old. It was like one of those classic style diving helmets, like the old 20s and 30s style, like the Bioshock style.
It's 100 pounds of brass.
Yeah, it's just brass. And the I think the whole suit is just like a pressurized, waterproofed canvas or something. And when they shut off the air, almost immediately, all of the organs were getting pushed up into the helmet, and you could see it on the camera feed.
That's terrifying.
Human goo.
Yeah, human goo.
The ocean's creepy. Damn ocean, you scary.
There are sharks out there that are older than our country. That have been alive longer than our country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That doesn't make me feel good. I don't like
Mhm.
that.
It's the Greenland shark.
I don't like that you know its name. I don't like that
That's
either.
right.
I
That's
like
right.
that
Because
either.
it's basically just like
Its metabolism is so slow and it
Mhm.
doesn't have any predators, so it just kind of like lives forever.
continues. Yeah. Well, yeah, like that's one of those things with I don't know if this is a myth or not, but isn't it with like lobsters, the only thing preventing them from living forever is how big they can grow before basically they just kind of succumb to their own weight?
Yep.
No, it's at a certain point that they no longer can grow shells big enough.
Oh, they just
to
can't
contain
molt.
them. They can't
Yeah,
molt,
okay.
and so they just kind of they squish themselves with their own growth in their own
Ooh.
But
skeleton.
if they could molt, then they effectively would live forever.
Yeah.
You would have like 1,000-pound lobsters.
I got really addicted to this lobster creator in Maine, and I don't know why I find the videos so fascinating, but he catches lobsters. He talks about what they can and can't keep. Any of the ones they can't keep, he takes them. He calls it the claw spa.
Oh
he
yeah, yeah, I've seen
he takes
Scott.
a little like
Yeah.
needler's pliers, knocks the barnacles off them, gives him a
Mm-hmm.
snack, throws him back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah, and that's where I learned. We're like, because yeah, I think you're right. Like it's the weight of the shell. Like their shell gets too heavy that they can't molt out of it.
Yeah,
But if
well,
they
it's not even so
could,
heavy. It's just that basically between the size, between their size and the fact that they can no longer molt, there's just nowhere left for them to grow.
Yeah.
It's some combination of that too.
which is kind of weird when you think about it. Like you're functionally immortal, really? Bizarre. And like lobsters live forever.
Jellyfish are immortal.
Jellyfish are immortal.
Yep.
Well, they're basically macro, like just single cell organisms. I mean, they're not, but they're
Is that a conspiracy theory? Please tell me that's
No.
a conspiracy.
No, it's like
theory.
actual scientific fact
Mm.
that like they are basically immortal. They just hit a certain age and then just like the Doctor regenerate.
Oh. Wow. That's great. That's great. I love that. I love everything about that. I hate that.
We used to have a system of animals that would eat the jellyfish, but then we started sticking straws in their noses.
I'm sorry, what?
Turtles.
Oh.
Sea turtles would, like, one of the main predators of jellyfish are sea turtles.
Oh. I didn't know that. That's really cool.
I didn't know that either.
And I think certain whales and sharks will eat them too.
Okay.
Where were these facts last week during Fun Facts?
I have no control over what my brain decides to float to the surface.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's just that particular part of the brain just go burr when it want to go burr.
But yeah, as far as aliens go, let's get back onto the actual conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a conspiracy theory because I actually think that aliens are out there that just they don't want to talk to us.
Yeah, no, I think no, I don't think that there being aliens in general is a conspiracy theory. I think honestly that is kind of a mathematical like consistency that if they aren't already, there will be, and there probably already have been and are no longer. But have they been here?
I will say, according to our government, there was recently like a Senate committee hearing or something on aliens, and according to our government, we have had contact with beings that are what we would describe as alien, and they live in the ocean.
I want
even
to
have their
see.
tech.
Wait, I want a source. And if it's
It
the
was-
Telegram,
it was a Senate committee hearing. They didn't provide any pictures, which I'm like, really, fuckers? Like you're gonna come out here,
Tell us about
say
aliens
this, and then
and
not give us pictures?
not let us clap them cheeks.
wait. They're saying that we've been in contact with aliens and they're in our oceans.
Yes, and that they have been living in the ocean. Yes, that they are here, living in the ocean,
Are those the
and
ones?
have been for centuries.
Are those the ones training the orcas to go mess with yachts?
Have you been watching Fox News again?
No, I swear to God, Look it up. Hold on, this was all over the news. Well, it was all over TikTok for.
So okay, all right. So was literal bank fraud. Okay, so was literal check fraud.
Shut up! It was real. It was real. Damn it!
And so was some 16-year-old TikToker, like or a degenerate kick streamer crashing his like $500,000 car or some BS.
It was
For
real to
views.
me.
Hold on.
Okay, I gotta look this. Up.
Here we go. Forbes. Here we go.
Oh.
Here, the Guardian. Here, that's a better one.
Yeah.
No, it's
okay.
not. No, it's not.
Fuck, I just.
Okay, fine. It's Forbes. Are you good with Forbes?
Forbes is fine. I don't.
All right.
The Guardian is not a
The Guardian and the Star are the same thing, I think, aren't they?
I think so. It's something.
There, it was a congressional hearing on UAPs, which is the new term for UFOs. I don't know what UAP stands for.
Unidentified alien presence, I would guess.
Unidentified aerial phenomena, if I believe. If I remember
Aerial
okay,
correctly.
yeah, there you go. Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Which just is the same way. It's just another way to say we don't know what it is.
Has a raptor caught
Which
one
is-
yet?
Mm.
Speaking of like shorts and fun things on the internet, as I love Habitual Line Crosser and just how unhinged his portrayal
yeah.
of the F-22 Raptor is.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. It's so good.
Didn't they lose one during like they lost one at some point. I want to say maybe in the spring during an exercise. It was autonomous, and they lost it in the North Carolina woods. Like it was just flying around, and they had to go find the
It
thing.
was I think it was an F-35.
Was it an F-35?
Yeah, because
Okay,
the F-22 isn't smart enough to do that.
they can retrofit those.
The F-22 is just looking around for things to kill. That's its only purpose is to fly the skies and look for things to kill.
We haven't even deployed it yet, have we?
That and the Predator drones.
We deployed it against the Chinese balloon. That's what took down that Chinese spy
Yeah.
balloon. Was an
That's it,
F-22.
though. That's all we've deployed it against.
That's its only air-to-air kill. Confirmed air-to-air kill.
Yeah, confirmed.
I have no doubt that an F-22 has tried to chase a UAP and tried to kill it. Because it's an F-22. What else is it gonna do? It's gonna try and intercept it.
I'd intercept me.
Would you
You
intercept me?
I'd intercept me.
I'd intercept me. I love that he took
like
took it
that.
into Buffalo Bill.
I'm glad I don't have skin.
It's I mean, technically, neither does the plane.
I mean, actually, no. The plane has an aluminium skin.
Well, it's no conspiracy theory that you've definitely wasted yet another hour here with us on today's theme.
I could have probably
If,
gone into
you
how
have-
the F-22 was a conspiracy theory. It was built with alien technology.
Wait, is that real?
I think there's a conspiracy theory that like the whole like stealth program of the US is based on alien technology.
There's also a conspiracy theory that was based off of, I think, the early prototypes by the twins or the brothers that were making a lot of the Nazi planes, because they did a few flying wings as well.
Technically, diffused wave signatures is Russian in origin.
I don't see that anywhere.
Or there was a paper back in the 50s about diffused wave refraction that the U.S. got their hands on in the 60s and started to develop the whole stealth program with the F-117 Nighthawk and then the B-2 Spirit, which led into the F-22 monstrosity.
We're gonna have to do this again because we didn't even get into some of the good ones. We didn't even get into like MK Ultra or fluoride
Or Ancient Aliens.
food,
My favorite History Channel conspiracy.
clapping alien cheeks. We need to get to pyramids or ancient structures. We're gonna have to do this again. Which means, if you, intrepid listener, have any conspiracy theories that you would like us to talk about, drop them below in the comments. Let us know. If you happen to believe any of these conspiracy theories or any that we haven't touched on, let us know. We'd love to know why. If there's any conspiracy theories anybody out there wholeheartedly believes. No judgment. pigeons aren't real. So no judgment from me. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and hit that noti bell so that you know when we release new ones. Thank you so much for listening. I've been Mara.
I've been Asher.
And I've been lost.
Pigeons aren't real.
Pigeons are real
But cheese is.
Pigeons aren't real.
when it's in a bag.
And stays fresh.